Well, hello and welcome back. We're continuing looking at our going through our SQL tutorials and focus mostly on MySQL and MariaDB. Today, we're continuing, it's more or less focused in the world of stored procedures right now, as we have been the last few sessions. But we're going to look at exceptions and error handling, which may show up in general scripts as well. Now, let's start with exceptions. So with an exception, you basically have two types of handlers that you're working with. It's either going to be exit, which means if I get an exception, I am going to bail out of this, or continue, which means if I get this exception, I am going to continue moving forward. I'm going to continue with my script. So let me go back to, let's take a look at one of these. Let's see. Let's pick one from yesterday. Let's do this one. And we will modify this guy a little bit. So we're going to take this leave me procedure that we did, and we're going to do create or replace. And this time, instead of leave, we're just going to do, let's do an exit handler. And so we're going to take that. So this is where if we give it an ID and it doesn't exist, then we want to do something special. So here, we're going to do it, and this is going to be, now what we're going to need here is an actual exception. So let's do, let's change this around a little bit. So in this case, instead of the if, what we're going to do is we're going to do this count. Actually, we don't even need to do the count. We're going to call this leave me 2. And let's just change the whole thing up. So we're going to call this simpleException. And we're going to give an ID. And instead, what we're going to do here is we don't even need to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to declare this, and we're going to say errors occurred, and then we're going to just update app user, and we're going to set a value. Let's see. Let's look at. Let me jump into my database here, and let's do select star from app user. Let's update. We're going to update the user login. Let's just say that. Well, let's do start year. Okay, let's do that one. So we're going to set start year equal to 2020. We're that. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up generating an exception here, because if I do this and it is not, let's do parent ID equals 0, then, oh, interesting. It does not throw that. Does not give me, so we're gonna have to change that up a little bit. Describe. All right, I may have to create a new table here real quick. Yeah, because all of mine are way too easy. So here, let's do this. Let's go back to, I think I can steal some create tables. So what I'm gonna do here is somewhere back here. Here we go. Let's do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in, and we are going to, before that, okay, we're going to create table, some values, and it's going to have an ID, and it's going to have, let's just do value 1, cannot be null, value 2, whoop. Not null, primary key is going to be ID. Okay, so we're going to take that. And we're going to create this. So now we can't insert. So if we go into insert into some values, value 1, values, first It should generate. There we go. Okay, so now it's going to get that. So let's make sure we got those guys here in our apologies. We'll do this. Let's take that insert. We'll take that guy. And that's going to be in our procedure here. Whoop. Okay, so we're going to come in here. That's all good. We've got him created. So let's take simpleException. And oh, there we go. So we want to put him there. Let's copy that here first. Is that what I want? Oh, no, well, I've just got all kinds of random stuff in here, so let's just do it like that. And now, okay, so now I have simpleException. And if I give it, oh, I guess it doesn't really matter what I can give. I can give it any number. It doesn't really matter at this point. And so here, I get that there was an exception there. Now it's going to try that, but if I do select star from some values, I see that it didn't come in, and instead I get this, and notice that this is, you know, the text is also the column. So what I could do is, and it's a rollback here, and so that rollback doesn't really matter too much, but if I do, let's call him message. Well, I don't want to say that there, but I do want to do it here. Dun, 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 like that. Now if I go back to my call, there we go. Now I'm going to see where, okay, so I can do it just like anything else. I'm going to alias that out. Here's the message, and I can display this out. And this is going to occur when there's an exception. If I say this, if I do value to values first, comma, underscore value, and change this is that right? Oh, let me get that from here. Darn it. Come here. Drag and drop is not always awesome. So now, if I do it and I do call simpleException, if I call it with my value, then it's going to work. If I send it a null, then it's going to say, nope, can't do it because that's a null. And I can do other checks around this. I could, well, this is SQLEXCEPTION. So here I'm not really doing necessarily some issues with this, or I have to have this, I have to have an exception actually get raised. Now, same thing is for, so this is an exit handler. Is it go, oh, let me do this. Let's try this. Select as message inserting record. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's do that. Oh, darn it. I don't want to save that there. I do want to do that. Let's go in here and let's do like a later version of that. Okay, so now, oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay, so now if I call simpleException and I call it with a null, then I see that there's, oh, it does come through and do that. And then it throws that exception. Oh, I'm sorry. Inserted. Because it's not going to generate the exception until I try to do the insert. My mistake. So let's take that. do it here. Did I just do that? There. Okay, let's try it again. Oh. And can I just call that again? Call. Where'd he go? Oh, I guess not. It's easier to do it this way. So now, if I call it with a null, I just get that error. If I call it with a value, then it does come through and it says, hey, I entered the record because it comes through here. Now, if I do a continue, which is why I did all of this, which I can go up, whoop. Yeah, so if I go up here, and instead of an exit handler, I do a continue handler. And let me actually do it for that one. So now let's say, let's change this around a little bit. Let's do, let's take that whole thing. And now I'm going to do a simple continue. And this one, instead what I'm going to do is, let's get back to that one that I had before. So I'm going to take an ID, which is an int. He comes in, and then let's see if I can find that code that I had from earlier. Let's do this. Actually, I can just do that update now. So I can do where did I just put that? Simple continue. Here we go. Okay. So here, I'm going to do update app user set, what did I call that? So now I should be able to see row not found. Let's see, start year. Start year equals 2010, where t parent d equals underscore ID. Okay. Oh, give it my close my line. I'm going to declare a continue handler, which will make this really easy. And let's see, simple continue. I'm going to do that. So now I should get a row not found. I don't need an ID count. I don't actually need that label. Simple continue, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if this works. Oops, need my delimiters. And let's just do select here as message. Let's do that. So we'll change that up just a little bit. Let's see, delimiter. Let's make sure I've got it in my little samples here. And let's load it up. Okay, so now I can call simple continue. If I call it with a 4, then I get there, because I think 4 is there, and okay, and it got set. If I call it with a 2, oh, and it's still not getting, because it does not generate the row not found. So I've got to get a not found here. So I'm going to have to figure out how to do that where it's going to generate it. Okay, I'm going to have to change this around a little bit. So enter into app user. Let's see, he is t parent 1. Let's just do it this simple. T parent ID. Values. ID. And let's just do this. Let's do this first. So if I do 1, Should generate. Okay, so he's going to generate 1364. Let's just do it from here. So for 1364, as message, and we're just going to do unable to insert row. And we can do it this way. So let's just change this here. And I apologize because we are not going to get to error handling today. We're just going to deal with exceptions. Thought I would get a little further. I did not. Whoops. Don't need you. Don't need you. Okay. So if I call, what's this called? simpleContinue. Then, oh, I need to give it an argument. And so I'm going to get that unable to insert row, but it continues in anyways. It's still going to try to do something. Oh, let me put that message. Is that the one I just did? Nope, that's not the one I did. Okay, wait. Okay, let's get rid of you. Let's get down here to, where was my, there we go, this guy. Oops. So this time, even though we're going to blow up here, we're going to do this. And we're going to come in, we're going to run this guy. And then if we do that call it with that. Now we're going to see that it's complete, even though we got the unable to insert row, because we have this continue handler. And so we have two different types of handlers that we can work with. Don't know that stuff yet. That we can work with, that we have talked about today, that allow us to either exit based on an error, or like here we did for just a general SQL exception, but we can also do it for here. This is an error code which we picked up when we tried to do, that's the error code right there. So if I take this same thing, and I could do it for multiples, so I could do something different depending on what I did. So if I do, what did that say? So it needed to be email. And let's just give it this. Then what it's going to give me is something different. So now it's going to, oh, okay, that's still a 1364 because it's user login. But if I go here at some point, it's going to give me a different one, I'm assuming. And of course, watch, this could take me a while to get to the error I want. Still a 13. Okay, that's just a bunch of default. But the point is, you'll get different error codes, and you can check for those, and you could actually have different error handlers depending on what your error code is. So if I have a different one that is like a maybe like walking to, like some of the other things like divide by 0 or something like that, you can generate different errors, and you can trap for those essentially through your declares, and that will allow you to do some basic exception handling. Ran a little long, so next time around we're continuing this, and we're going to look at our error handling instead of our exceptions. And whoop, where did I go? Here we go. Over here somewhere. There we go. So instead of error handling, we're going to take care of that next time around. And I think you'll see that it'll continue some rather interesting things that we can do within our store procedures. That being said, sorry if we ran a little bit long playing around with these. Sometimes these examples get a little complex, and sometimes they haven't all been run through beforehand. So my apologies. But that being said, go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time.